So this lecture is about the another special diode, which we call it as Zener diode, and its applications. Okay, what is Zener diode? Then what are its characteristics? Characteristics nothing but VI characteristics. Then how these VI characteristics of Zener diode is helpful for us in constructing a voltage regulator, and that voltage regulator how it will be used it in the regulated power supply. So these all things we will see in this lecture. And before going to the Zener diode characteristics, we will see the breakdown mechanisms. Actually, PN junction diode has got its operation in forward biased condition and reverse biased condition. And we have seen that in reverse biased condition, the reverse current is due to minority charge carriers. And that current we call it as the reverse saturation current, which is constant with respect to voltage. And it is very, very small of the order of picoamperes, nanoamperes, or microamperes. And as the reverse voltage increases, at some high voltage, the breakdown occurs. Okay, so how that breakdown occurs, that concept of breakdown mechanism that we will see now. So breakdown mechanism in a diode. When reverse voltage increases beyond certain value, okay, when reverse voltage increases beyond certain value, large diode current flows. This is called as breakdown of a diode, and the corresponding voltage is called reverse breakdown voltage, or simply breakdown voltage. Okay, so for low voltages of reverse voltage, the current will be constant, but at a certain value and beyond that, the breakdown occurs. During the breakdown condition, large amount of current flows. So therefore, the characteristics of the diode will change. So it will not be existing like a PN junction diode. So it will be showing some special characteristics. So that characteristics we call it as a Zener diode characteristics. Okay, then we will see what are all those two different types of breakdown mechanisms. So there are two different mechanisms which due to which the breakdown occur. Actually, breakdown occurs because of two mechanisms. So as you increase the reverse voltage at certain point, breakdown occurs. Occurring breakdown nothing but suddenly large amount of current flows. So actually for low voltages of reverse voltage, what happens, the current will be very, very small, which is called as reverse saturation current. That's what we have seen in PN junction diode. But at a certain value of reverse voltage, breakdown occurs, and that voltage is called breakdown voltage. And that occurs because of two mechanisms. One is avalanche breakdown, the other one is Zener breakdown. Okay, what is avalanche breakdown, what is Zener breakdown, we'll see one by one. First one is avalanche breakdown. The avalanche breakdown occurs in lightly doped diodes. This is very, very important point. So the avalanche breakdown occurs in lightly doped diodes. That means the doping concentration on either side of the PN junction, P-type and N-type, the doping concentration is less. That means it is lightly doped. Lightly doped means the number of impurity atoms added to P-type and N-type are very less. Okay. So under that case, what happens is, as the applied reverse bias voltage is increased, then the velocity and the hence the kinetic energy. Okay, velocity and hence the kinetic energy of thermally generated charge carriers. Thermally generated charge carriers means here minority charge carriers. These thermally generated charge carriers are minority charge carriers, due to which actually the current flows in the reverse bias. So those carriers, minority charge carriers, the velocity and kinetic energy of that charge carriers increases. So in the reverse bias condition of a diode, the current is due to thermally generated charge carriers, which we call them as minority charge carriers, which are less in number. Because of that only, the current is of the order of picoamperes, nanoamperes, or microamperes. Okay. So now, when you apply the reverse voltage, and if you keep on increasing this reverse voltage, okay, the velocity of the charge carriers will increase. Thereby, the kinetic energy also increases. So, if such charge carriers whose kinetic energy is high, okay, so those carriers will collide against an electron involved in covalent bond. So, one charge carrier will collide with other carrier, other electron, which is involved in the covalent bond. So now because of that collisions, what happens? The covalent bond breaks. If the covalent bond breaks, what happens? Those becomes the free electrons. So that means if the electron is coming out of the covalent bond, then that will become a free electron, and it is almost called as a new carrier is created. Okay, new carrier is created. So these those newly created carriers, because of the collisions, which are coming out of the covalent bond by breaking the covalent bond, then those carriers we call them as secondary particles. Okay, the primary particles are those carriers which are already free electrons, which are not part of the covalent bond. They are free electrons. Those free electrons acquire velocity and kinetic energy. Thus, they go and collide the electrons involved in the covalent bond. So then that covalent bond breaks, and the electron comes out of that covalent bond and becomes a free electron. So that we call it as a newly created charge carrier, and they are also called as secondary particles. Okay, so those secondary particles again are accelerated because this reverse voltage is keep on increasing. Okay, keep on increasing. So therefore the newly created charge carriers are also getting accelerated. Okay, and they again participate in collisions that generate again new electron hole pairs. That means this process is continuous. If one electron collides with another covalent bond and breaks it, that electron comes out and joins with this electron, then it becomes two electrons. These two electrons will go and again collide with another covalent bond, and it creates two more new electrons. Then it becomes two, becomes now four, and this four again goes and collides with other covalent bond. Then four becomes eight, and this complete process is continuing. So this process, this phenomena of keep on generating the new electron hole pairs because of the collisions by acquiring the high kinetic energy because of the increase in the reverse voltage. This phenomena we call it as avalanche multiplication. Okay, so it is keep on increasing. One electron has become two, two has become four, four has become eight, eight has become 16, and so on. So like that the carriers keep on increasing. So if the carriers keep on increasing, what happens? The current due to these carriers also increases. Okay, so the phenomena is called avalanche multiplication. Due to this avalanche effect, the junction is said to be in breakdown. Breakdown nothing but what? There were a very low number of charge carriers, which are thermally generated charge carriers or minority charge carriers. Now those minority charge carriers are colliding with the covalent bonds, and it is increasing the number very large. So that creates the junction to be in breakdown condition, and because of this huge amount of charge carriers, the current starts increasing rapidly. Okay, so that means that when you increase the reverse voltage at certain point, because of this mechanism, avalanche mechanism, the breakdown occurs. Breakdown occurring nothing but what? It is creating so many free electrons across the junction, so that junction no more will be reverse biased. In junction no more will be depleted of the charge carriers. This large amount of charge carriers will be crossing the junction. Therefore, the current starts increasing rapidly. So the diodes having reverse breakdown voltage greater than 6 volts shows the avalanche mechanism of breakdown. Okay, avalanche breakdown has positive temperature coefficient. Okay, then the process of this avalanche breakdown mechanism will be explained in this diagram. An electron which is having high velocity, okay, is coming and colliding with an electron which is in the covalent bond. Okay, so then what happens? This electron comes out of the covalent bond, and this now becomes two electrons. Okay, this already is there. Then this new electron, these two becomes the charge carriers. Then these two will go. One will go with another electron collision. The other electron will go with some other electron collision. Then this brings out. This also brings out, comes out because of the collisions. Then these two plus these two will become four. Okay, so four, so and so on. So this process keeps on continuing, so that one electron is actually generating so many new electrons. Therefore that creates a breakdown in the junction, and current starts increasing rapidly. Okay, so this type of breakdown mechanism is called avalanche breakdown mechanism, and this is due to the high kinetic energy because of the increase in the reverse voltage. That is about the avalanche breakdown. Next, another type of breakdown is there, which is called a Zener breakdown. This Zener breakdown occurs in heavily doped diodes. Heavily doped diodes. Under reverse bias conditions, the electric field across the depletion layer is very intense. High intense electric field will be there in the reverse bias. Okay, that means if the reverse voltage keeps increasing, the intensity of electric field across the junction also very high. So breaking of covalent bonds due to intense electric field across the narrow depletion region, generating a large number of electrons is called as a Zener effect. So now, because of the here also the process of colliding or breaking of covalent bonds is there, but the breaking of covalent bonds in this case is because of the high intense electric field, whereas the breaking of covalent bonds in the previous case is due to the high kinetic energy acquired by the electrons. So these generated electrons constitute a very large current, and the mechanism is called Zener breakdown. And this generally occurs for the low voltages of 5 volts, less than 5 volts, and shows the Zener breakdown mechanism. Okay, and Zener breakdown mechanism has got negative temperature coefficient, and this occurs in heavily doped diodes, whereas avalanche breakdown occurs in lightly doped diodes. Generally, avalanche breakdown occurs at high reverse voltages. Zener breakdown occurs at low reverse voltages because of the doping nature, heavily doped and lightly doped nature. So it takes very low voltage, because it is heavily doped. It takes very low voltage to generate new electron hole pairs across the junction, and large amount of current will be flowing. So in both these mechanisms, what is happening is, at certain voltage called breakdown voltage, the current starts suddenly increasing. So rapid increase in the current begins. So these mechanisms generally are used for maintaining the constant voltage across the load. So now this Zener breakdown mechanism, okay, we will be using it in the process of voltage regulation. Okay, in Zener diode, where the Zener breakdown is occurring, that condition we call it as that particular mechanism, a special case of mechanism in the PN junction diode, we call it as a special diode called Zener diode. Okay, so now the breakdown in the diode, if you see the VI characteristics, the forward bias will be same without any change. Forward bias will be up to cut-in voltage, the current is 0. After cut-in voltage, the current increases. Then in the reverse voltage, because of the minority charge carriers, which are small in number, and those number is fixed, it does not vary with voltage up to certain level, then that the current will be constant. Then at certain voltage, in this region, at high voltages, what happens is, Zener breakdown voltage will be less, avalanche breakdown voltage will be high. So Zener breakdown occurs at certain voltages here, okay, and avalanche breakdown occurs at certain voltages, say here. So this is Zener breakdown, nothing but at a voltage called breakdown voltage, Zener breakdown voltage. So the current suddenly increases because of the charge carriers being generated in large in number. Similarly, reverse avalanche breakdown also occurs at a high voltages called 6 volts. Then avalanche breakdown occurs. So this Zener breakdown occurs in heavily doped diodes, and the avalanche breakdown occurs in lightly doped diodes. But both are shown in the same graph here, but both will not occur for the same diode. Okay, so same diode Zener breakdown and avalanche breakdown does not occur. So the diodes which are lightly doped, avalanche breakdown occurs. The diodes which are heavily doped, Zener breakdown occurs. But for a given diode, two breakdowns will not occur. But here, just to compare the voltages, that Zener breakdown voltage is less than the avalanche breakdown voltages, both the graphs are drawn in the same plot. But the diode which is having exhibiting Zener breakdown mechanism does not exhibit avalanche breakdown mechanism, and vice versa. Okay, so this is the graph for the breakdown representing the breakdown regions of the diodes. Okay, now we'll see what is actually Zener diode is, and what are the VI characteristics of Zener diode. Zener diode is actually heavily doped diode, therefore it exhibits Zener breakdown mechanism. Okay, so it is an ordinary PN junction diode which is heavily doped, and it is designed to exhibit the Zener breakdown mechanism. So therefore, it is a special purpose diode of a PN junction diode. Okay, so if the diode is heavily doped, then the Zener diode will exhibit the Zener breakdown mechanism. So Zener diode is a heavily doped diode and is designed with adequate power dissipation capabilities to operate in the reverse breakdown region. Okay, so this Zener diode will be acting as a normal diode in the other conditions like forward bias and up to reverse breakdown voltage. It will be same like a PN junction diode, but it exhibits a special property called breakdown mechanism when it comes to a high reverse voltage of above 5 volts, depending upon the Zener rating of the diode. So Zener diode may be manufactured to have a breakdown at 5 volts or at 6 volts or 7 volts, depending upon what breakdown voltage is designed for that particular Zener diode. Okay, Zener diode is a heavily doped diode and is designed with adequate power dissipation capabilities to operate in the reverse breakdown region. In reverse biased condition, the diode carries reverse saturation current till the reverse voltage applied is less than the reverse breakdown voltage. So it is normally in reverse bias condition. What happens? The diode carries reverse saturation current. Reverse saturation current is very small and is constant. So till what it will be remaining constant till reverse breakdown voltage, it acts as a constant. So same the graph what is showing. So this is what is reverse saturation current, which is constant. Okay, this we call it as I naught. So this is constant till which voltage it is constant? Till the breakdown voltage it is constant. After breakdown voltage that is suddenly increasing. So this portion is for low voltages of the reverse voltage, the current will be constant. So in reverse bias condition, the diode carries reverse saturation current till the reverse voltage applied is less than the reverse breakdown voltage. When the reverse voltage exceeds the reverse breakdown voltage, the current through it changes drastically, but the voltage across it remains constant. So current is changing drastically at a single point of voltage. So voltage constant, current is increasing drastically. Such a breakdown region is normal operating region of the Zener diode. So Zener diode, the operating region will be that portion of the graph where for a breakdown voltage, the current is drastically increasing. That particular region we will be using for the operation of the Zener diode, and that is used in the application called Zener diode as voltage regulator. Okay. Now, the operating region of PN junction diode will be in the forward bias, where we will be calculating the forward resistance and all those things. So, and we will be plotting a DC load line in the and we will be calculating the operating point. Okay, in the forward bias. Similarly, so this Zener diode, it's a important property. Why this Zener diode is made is to operate it in the breakdown region, and that too at breakdown voltage, the current should drastically increase, and that particular property is used as an application in the voltage regulator. Voltage regulator requires what? Current should flow at a constant voltage. So here also current is flowing drastically, increasing at a constant voltage. So you keep on increasing the voltage. Well, voltage will not increase, but current keep on increasing. So it will be fixed at VZ or VB breakdown voltage, and current keep on drastically increasing. So if your applied voltage keeps on increasing, the Zener will fix it up at a voltage called breakdown voltage, and current starts increasing. So this property of Zener diode is used in the voltage regulator. Okay, the symbol of the Zener diode is shown like this. Yeah. Yes.
Sir, adequate power dissipation capabilities means?
Adequate power dissipation capability means when this voltage is there, VZ, okay, current is drastically increasing. So VZ is there, current is there across the Zener diode. Then the power is there, right? Power, it has got that adequate power dissipation capability. Power is equal to voltage into current. So the voltage across the Zener diode is breakdown voltage, which is VZ, represented as VZ, which is equal to 5 volts or whatever may be the fixed value of the Zener voltage. Then current will drastically increases, right? So what is the maximum current that is flowing across this Zener diode is IZM we call it as, and that current and this voltage will give you more power. Okay, so VZ is 5 volts, IZ maybe it is drastically increasing. To what extent it increases? Maximum of say 10 milliamperes, for example. So then 10 milliamperes into 5. is 50 milliwatt is the power dissipation capability of this particular diode. So at a constant voltage of breakdown voltage, drastically current is increasing. If this current increases and voltage is breakdown voltage, which is also high voltage 5 volts, and both if you multiply voltage and current, then the power dissipation of this diode is there, right, which is P is equal to V into I. So that power dissipation capability also, because it is current is increasing, so what will be the maximum current that multiplied with this voltage is the power dissipation capability of this diode. So it is prepared in such a way that it should handle that much of huge amount of power to withstand in it. So that's what we call it as, it is designed with adequate power dissipation capabilities. That means if large amount of power is dissipated across the diode, it should not damage. So that way the diodes are designed such that it handles large amount of power, because I am saying that current is drastically increasing, voltage is also high 5 volts and beyond. So voltage is high, current is drastically increasing, then the power will be definitely high. Okay, so that high amount of power, that's what we call is adequate power. It has to be withstand with the diode. That's what we call it as a designed with adequate power dissipation capability. Okay, GNR diode is a heavily doped diode and is designed with adequate power dissipation capabilities to operate in the reverse breakdown region. In the up to reverse breakdown voltage, the current is very small, voltage also very small, the power also will be definitely very small. But when particularly operated in reverse breakdown region, the voltage is high, current is also high, then definitely product of voltage and current is power, that also will be very high. So if that much of high power is dissipated in the diode, will it be able to withstand or not without getting damaged? So to withstand that, it is designed with that capability to withstand. So that's what is called as designed with adequate power dissipation capability. Is it okay? Next, the symbol of the GNR diode is it is having a, it is not as it is like a PN junction diode, but this vertical cathode bar is represented in the form of a Z shape. Okay, normal PN junction diode is like this. Normal PN junction diode is like this, A and K cathode. Now PN junction diode is special purpose of the special diode of this PN junction diode is the GNR diode. Okay, so therefore the symbol also is changed as this particular vertical bar is made it as a Z shape by keeping the slant lines like this. Therefore, it is called as a GNR diode. Okay, so the symbol of the GNR diode will be having its vertical bar in the Z shape. Therefore, we can call this symbol as GNR diode symbol. Okay, next, the VI characteristics of GNR diode. VI characteristics of the GNR diode is just at GNR voltage, which is called as breakdown voltage, the current suddenly increases. So this itself is the difference. The other portion of the graph from here to here, this entire thing is normal PN junction diode only. In forward bias condition, GNR diode and PN junction diode will be normal, same. Both will be operating same. Even up to GNR voltage also, both are operated same. So at GNR voltage only the breakdown occurs. Okay, so this occurs only for GNR diode. For PN junction diode, breakdown does not occur. The constant current will be shown up to this particular point. Okay, then the breakdown occurs only in the GNR diode, and that breakdown, it occurs at a voltage called GNR voltage, and the current drastically increases, and that particular region is called as normal operating region of the GNR diode. Okay, so GNR diode operating region is this one. So the remaining all is the normal as it is like a PN junction diode. Okay, so this is the VI characteristics of GNR diode. If you draw the VI characteristics of PN junction diode, what we will do is we will draw VF here, IF here, PR, IR like this, and we plot the same way up to V gamma is 0. After that it increases. This portion is same, this portion and this portion are same. Even in the reverse also, so reverse also it will be almost constant like this. This one and this one also same. We stop there itself. So this is the what is VI characteristics of PN junction diode. Okay, we stop there itself because breakdown does not occur in the normal PN junction diode. We stop the characteristics. This is reverse characteristics. This is forward characteristic. This is reverse characteristics. So that's all. So what we are saying in the reverse characteristics, reverse current is due to minority charge carriers or thermally generated charge carriers, which is constant in number. Therefore, it is very small and is constant. So this graph we are showing it. And in the forward bias, up to V gamma current is 0, after V gamma current increases. So this is the graph in the forward bias. So this is what is the operation of PN junction diode under forward and reverse biases. But whereas coming to the GNR diode, forward bias of the GNR diode and forward bias of the PN junction diode both are same. And up to low voltages, up to voltage VZ also, the reverse voltage also, reverse bias also same. But at GNR breakdown occurs in this GNR diode at a GNR voltage, and that voltage the current is drastically increasing. That is the difference. So if you represent this portion of the graph, then the characteristics will become GNR diode characteristics. If you remove this one and draw only this particular graph, that will become PN junction diode characteristics. That means the GNR diode is specially manufactured to operate at the breakdown voltage to have a large amount of current, such that that property is actually used in the voltage regulator. Voltage regulator, what happens? Current should flow at a constant voltage. The DC voltage of 5 volts is required for you. Now, if I use a GNR diode whose GNR breakdown voltage is 5 volts, then you will get 5 volts constant DC at the output. After the filter, if you put a GNR diode, whatever the ripples are there at the output of the filter, that completely will be removed, and only the voltage which will be appearing across the GNR diode will be the GNR voltage, which is breakdown voltage, that is constant irrespective of the input voltage or irrespective of the temperature or load current. The output voltage will be constant. Even if you see how the even current is changing, also the voltage is same. See here the current is different. This current, if you take here, the current is maybe 1 milliampere. Here the current is maybe 2 milliampere. Here the current may be say 3 milliampere. Here the current may be say 10 milliampere. So is it not for every current here? Is it not the voltage same, which is Vz? So that property also, even the current is increasing, the voltage should remain same. Even the temperature is increasing, the voltage should remain same. Even the input voltage is actually your reverse voltage, right? Reverse voltage you are increasing, but the voltage, reverse breakdown voltage will be fixed at Vz. So input voltage increasing, also the output voltage remains same. So that particular property of GNR diode is used as a GNR diode as voltage regulator, so that a constant DC voltage we will be getting across the regulator, irrespective of the variations of the current or temperature or the input voltage. Therefore, whatever may be the changes, the output constant voltage you will be getting, which is actually desired DC voltage. So that is what is the important property of the GNR diode. Then, how do we calculate the dynamic resistance of the GNR diode? The dynamic resistance of GNR diode is defined as the reciprocal of the slope of the reverse characteristics. So Rz is equal to delta V divided by delta Z. Like we calculated the resistance even for the PN junction diode, right? Here also we'll calculate the resistance for the GNR diode. It is the reciprocal of the slope of the reverse characteristics. In the reverse characteristics, if you see, this is delta Vz, delta Iz, then the ratio of delta Vz to delta Iz is your Rz. Okay, so it is, I have shown the slant curve here like this, but ideally the curve will be very small, very straight, so that delta Vz is 0, then Rz will be ideally 0. Okay, ideally Rz is 0, but whereas because delta Vz is 0. Okay, but Rz is few tens of ohms practical. Very small variation may be there, like instead of a straight line like this, small variation may be there like this, so that delta V will be very, very small, so that you will be getting Rz maybe few tens of ohms. This is the practical case. Okay, so the Zener resistance is the this is also called as Zener resistance. Okay, so Zener resistance, that's why it is represented with Rz. Rz is Zener resistance. So Zener resistance is the reciprocal of the slope of the Zener characteristics, and this value is very, very small. Ideally is 0, practically is few tens of ohms. Okay, so this is about the dynamic resistance. Now, if you see the equivalent circuit of GNR diode, so this is the symbol of the GNR diode. Now, if I want to see the equivalent behavior of this GNR diode, what is the behavior it has got? If you see the practical equivalent circuit, the GNR diode has got a constant voltage across it, which we call it as GNR voltage. Therefore, the equivalent circuit will have a battery which is equal to its GNR breakdown voltage or GNR voltage Vz, and it is also having some internal resistance that is called as GNR resistance, Ideally is 0, but practically some resistance will exist. Therefore, in series with this Zener voltage, we have to put even Zener resistance also. So that we call it as a practical equivalent circuit. So across the Zener diode, while seeing the operation or behavior of it, it is having a constant voltage, which is called as Zener voltage or Zener breakdown voltage. Therefore, it is represented by a battery Vz. And it is having its resistance also, dynamic resistance or Zener resistance, that is represented by Rz. So these two are connected in series. This is what is equivalent circuit or equivalent model of Zener diode practically. Now, when we take ideal case, I already told what is Rz. Rz is equal to 0. If Rz is equal to 0, simply we make that Rz as short circuit and we replace that with a short circuit simple wire. Therefore, that Rz is completely removed here. Then ideal equivalent circuit will consist of only the Zener voltage that is represented as a battery here. Okay, so this is the ideal equivalent circuit. Ideal equivalent circuit means Zener diode acts like a constant voltage which is called as a battery. Okay, Vz, Zener voltage. In practical, it will be having a constant voltage along with its internal resistance, which is very, very small, of the order of few tens of ohms. So this is the practical equivalent circuit. This is the ideal equivalent circuit. So diode behaves like simply a voltage source, constant voltage source, constant DC voltage source, which is Vz, does not change. So, and it's practically, it will have some internal resistance also represented by Rz. So that is what is the behavior of the Zener diode. And that too, the polarities of this one is minus plus like this. And the resistance is added in series to that. Okay. Now that is what all about the Zener diode. Now you understand that Zener diode is having some property that in its reverse biased condition, at certain voltage, called constant voltage, which is called breakdown voltage or Zener voltage, represented by Vz, the current drastically increases. That means as the current keeps on increasing, the voltage is also constant. That's all. So that property we will use it in the voltage regulator. So what is actually voltage regulator? Voltage regulator is an electronic device, okay, which produces constant output voltage. Voltage regulator nothing but which produces constant output voltage, irrespective of nothing but what, though there will be a variation in the input voltage. If I am changing input voltage also, the output should be constant. That's what input voltage changing with respect to time, nothing but what, input voltage may be having some ripple or fluctuations, which is actually the output of the filter in the regulated power supply, which is not actually a constant voltage, which is having some ripple. We have seen that in the triangular waveform, there is some ripple present, very small ripple present in that. So that we call it as a variations in the input voltage or line voltage. So that variations are there. Then also it will provide you the output as a constant voltage. Then if any temperature variations are there, then also it should have a constant voltage. If any load variations are there, load variation is nothing but what, load current variation or load resistance variation. If you change the resistance, also current changes, or if the current also changes, then that is also we call it as a load variation. Load current changes, then definitely the output should change, but this voltage regulator output will not change. So that's what is actually required. So we have to choose such device as a voltage regulator, which has got this property. This property nothing but what, the output voltage should be constant, irrespective of the variations in the input voltage, temperature, and the load current. The output should be constant. Such type of device we call it as a voltage regulator. Okay, the output voltage V0 depends on input unregulated DC voltage, and load current IDC and temperature T. Okay. Now, if you see the variation of this output voltage with respect to variation of all these three parameters, then the change in the output voltage of the power supply can be expressed as delta V0 is equal to dou V0 by dou Vin into delta Vin plus dou V0 by dou IL into delta IL plus dou V0 by dou T into delta T. That means this is showing you the variation of these three input parameters, how the output will be represented as. So delta V0 is equal to dou V0 by dou Vin plus, that means at a time only one parameter is changing. Then the first term is because of the variation in Vin. Second term is because of the variation in IL. Third term is because of the variation in temperature. So this way we can write the expression for output voltage, change in the output voltage expression like this. Okay. Next, the same thing can be written as the same thing. Delta V naught is called dou V naught by dou V in into this dou V naught by dou V in, which is nothing but variation of output voltage with respect to variation of input voltage is dou V naught by dou V in. Similarly, dou V naught by dou IL, variation of output voltage with respect to variation of input load current. Similarly, dou V naught by dou T, which is variation of the output voltage with respect to variation of the temperature. Three parameters I have taken, right? V in, load current, input voltage, and temperature. So how the output voltage is varying with respect to these things, we call them as three coefficients or three stability factors, which are represented as SV, R0, and ST. Okay, so those stability factors are coefficients. We call them as SV is called as input regulation factor. SV is equal to, if you make the remaining two parameters zero, these two parameters zero, that means we are only seeing the variation in the input voltage, not with that load current and the temperature. If you assume that these two are zeros, only this one is there, and SV is equal to delta V naught by delta V in, when delta IL is equal to 0, delta T is equal to 0. Assuming that current is not changing and the temperature is not changing, or the change in them is 0. Okay, then we can write it as SV is equal to this one. Similarly, R naught I will take, assuming the other two variables are constants. Then we'll get R naught. ST we will take assuming the temperature is variable and in V in and IL are constants. Then we will get the temperature coefficient. So the three coefficients we are taking: input regulation factor, output resistance, temperature coefficient. These all are also called as stability factors. So what should be the values of these stability factors? Actually, even this delta V naught divided by delta V in is there, right? Even this V in changes, your V naught should not change. That means your delta V naught is also expected to be 0. Okay, that means what should be the values of, ideally these values of SV, R naught, and ST? SV should be 0. That means delta V naught should be 0. R naught also should not vary. Delta V naught should be 0 even though IL changes. So it is 0. ST should be 0. That means ideally these all three coefficient values should be 0. Then only we can say that output voltage is constant. It does not depend on input voltage, input voltage, temperature, and IL. But practically, what happens? Practically, okay, these values should be as small as possible. It should be SV should be approximately equal to 0 or more close to 0. So this also should be more close to 0. This also should be more close to 0. So these stability factors values should be ideally 0, or practically to be to act this voltage regulator perfectly, or to be more idealistic, then the values of these three parameters should be more close to 0, maybe 0.1, 0.01, 0.05, like that. So more closer the values, the more will be the advantages, so that you will be not be getting any variation in the output voltage. That is the basics of a voltage regulator. Then we will see how Zener diode is acting like a voltage regulator. Okay, so this is the circuit diagram of a Zener diode voltage regulator, where I will be connecting the input voltage, positive, negative, through a current limiting resistor. Then I am connecting the Zener diode. Zener diode, its operating region is what? Reverse. So if I want to connect the Zener diode in the reverse biased condition, what is the polarities of the battery and the position of the diode? This is actually the cathode. This is anode. The cathode is connected with the positive terminal of the battery. Anode is connected to the negative terminal of the battery. Then what happens to this Zener diode? It will be connected in the reverse biased condition. So the Zener diode should be always made reverse bias. Then only the operating region of the Zener diode in the reverse bias only is used for us as a voltage regulator. Therefore, when I am connecting Zener diode as a voltage regulator, then the Zener diode should be always in the reverse biased condition. Okay, the positive terminal of the input should be connected to the cathode, negative terminal of the input should be connected to the anode. Then only the Zener diode will be in the reverse biased condition. In the reverse biased condition only we will be getting a constant voltage called breakdown voltage or Zener voltage, for which the current will be maximum across the Zener diode. So therefore, always Zener diode should be operated in the reverse biased condition, and that should be made reverse biased to make the Zener diode to be operated in the reverse breakdown region. That particular property is only useful for us when we are constructing this Zener diode in the when we are using this GNR diode in the voltage regulator circuit. Okay, so if you reverse bias the GNR diode, then across the GNR diode, if you connect a load resistor, here I have connected the load resistor, therefore you will be getting output voltage which is equal to, in parallel, what is the voltage? Here the breakdown voltage will be constant, Vz. What will be the output voltage? Output voltage when this GNR diode is on, so you will be getting output voltage which is equal to GNR voltage. GNR voltage may be 5 volts fixed, so you will be getting output voltage 5 volts fixed. Okay, which will not vary with whatever may be the variation. Let input vary. Let input vary from 0 to 20 volts. 0 to 20 volts, 0 to 20 volts, 0 to 5 volts, it will vary linearly. Output also will vary from 0 to 5 volts linearly. Okay, after that 5 volts it will remain. Okay, that means if you are maintaining the input voltage 5 and above, greater than 5, then this will be equal to 5 only. It will not go beyond 5 volts. Even though if your input voltage is 20 volts, output voltage will be 5 volts only, because this GNR diode breakdown voltage is fixed at Vz. So output voltage V0 will be always equal to Vz only. That Vz value is fixed at 5 volts, then it will be 5 volts only. Okay. So the GNR voltage regulator shown in figure above, in which a GNR diode is connected in parallel to the load resistor, and the resistance Rs is the current limiting resistor, and this GNR diode should be always reverse biased. Okay, that is the thing. Next, we will see some cases like there are three elements are there, three things are there here. So the input voltage Vi, the resistance here, the series resistance or current limiting resistor R or Rs, whatever it may be, input voltage, and the load resistor RL. These three elements are there. This is anyhow is GNR diode. Okay. So apart from this GNR diode, what are the other elements that are there in the circuit? The input voltage source, the resistance, current limiting resistance or series resistance, and the load resistance. Now we have to see these three resistors are there. So we'll take some cases like all the three values are fixed. Vi is fixed, Rs is fixed, RL is fixed. So Vi, R, I call that as Rs or R, whatever it may be, or RL. All these three are fixed. Then what happens? Now Vi is Vi comma R are fixed. These are not varying, they are fixed. Maybe Vi I can apply some 15 volts, R is say 1 kilo ohm, like that they are fixed. Now RL value is changing. RL value is the load resistance, I will change it, variable. That is one case. This is first case, this is second case. Okay, third case what I will do is Vi is variable, input voltage I am keeping variable. Okay, then R and RL are fixed. So under that case, what happens to the GNR diode when it will be on? How the what will be the all the parameters of the circuit? What will be the minimum values and maximum values of this V in for which the GNR diode functions, and what are the minimum values and maximum values of the RL for which the GNR diode functions, and all those case studies we will take it and we will just analyze the regulator circuit. Okay, for these three cases we will analyze the regulator circuit now by taking one by one. The first case is Vi, R and RL, all three are fixed. Okay, that is what is the case number 1. Say. Okay, very important. Till now also breakdown mechanisms, GNR diode characteristics, GNR diode equivalent circuit, GNR diode resistance, GNR resistance. Then how the GNR diode is acting like a voltage regulator. What are the three stability factors? What should be the ideal values of those stability factors? My aim is V0 should be constant. Delta V0 will be 0. So to make the delta V0 0, these all stability factors should be 0. And it should not vary. The output voltage should not vary with any of these three parameters like IL, temperature, then Vi. Okay, that is what is all about the voltage regulator. Now we will take the circuit diagram of voltage regulator and we analyze for the parameters that the components that we have connected in this circuit. What happens if these parameters are fixed or if they are variable? Because we are telling that Vi is changing. So what will be the voltage, output voltage, or what will be the power across the GNR diode? What will be the minimum values and maximum values of Vi? What should be the minimum values and maximum values of RL? All those things. When they are varying, then there will be minimum and maximum ranges. So if VI, what should be minimum, what should be maximum? RL, what should be minimum, what should be maximum? If they are varying. If they are fixed, simply we have to analyze when the GNR diode is on, when the GNR diode is off, and when we will be getting the output voltage which is equal to the GNR voltage, all those things. Okay, now we will start analyzing. The first condition is VI, RS and RL are fixed. Okay, VI, RS and RL are fixed. The analysis can be carried out in 2 steps. Okay, now determine the state of the GNR diode by removing. Now first we have to tell or determine whether the GNR diode is on or off. That we call it as state of the GNR diode. Okay, so when will be it is on in this condition in the GNR diode? It will be on if it is operated in breakdown region, because that is what is actually required. So it will be on if it is operated in the breakdown region. So if it will be off other than that. But for low voltages it is off. For high voltage, which is called a GNR voltage, then that is on. So we have to decide for the given values of VI, RS and RL, if the diode I am connecting in the circuit. Now we have to decide whether when the diode will be on, when the diode will be off. Okay, for that what we are supposed to do is, when the GNR diode is connected in the GNR regulator circuit, we have to remove that diode, make it as open circuit. If I remove the diode, what happens? Between the terminals where the diode was connected, that will become open circuited. Now I will determine the state of the diode by removing it from the circuit or network and calculate the voltage across the open circuit. So across this open circuit, actually here there was a diode here. Okay, there was a diode connected across this one in the reverse direction. So reverse direction, nothing but what? So actually the diode was connected like this. The diode was there actually, but what I am doing now, I am removing that. If I remove that, then it will become open circuit. Open circuit, then what I am doing, I want to calculate the voltage across these open circuited terminals where the diode was removed. Then that will become what? That is equal to V is equal to, now simply what is this network? Actually voltage division network, because RS and RL both are in, these two resistors are in series, and the total voltage applied is VI. So it is almost like a voltage divider network. Okay, voltage divider network. So voltage divider network, if you apply voltage division rule, voltage across this B is what? Voltage across the resistor RL. So voltage across the resistor RL, voltage division rule, if you apply, voltage across the resistor RL is equal to total voltage VI. V is equal to total voltage VI into the same resistance divided by sum of two resistances, RS plus RL. That's what is voltage division rule. So the same thing we have written, and this voltage and the voltage across the load will be same, because these two are in parallel. Parallel voltages are same. That's why I have written V is equal to V naught is equal to RL into VI divided by RS plus RL. Okay. Now already there was a GNR diode, right? What is its GNR voltage is VZ. So GNR voltage for a given GNR diode is fixed. It is a specification parameter. Suppose if I am holding one GNR diode with me, that GNR diode may be having its GNR voltage as 5 volts. It is a specification. It is manufacturing value. So the diode which I have removed here, the value of the GNR voltage or breakdown voltage of that GNR diode is VZ. Now how much that will be fixed? It is given. Maybe it is 10 volts. Say it is given. It will be given in the specification sheet, or when we are solving the problem, the value of VZ will be given. Okay, because it is fixed for a given diode. So VZ is say 10 volts. Now we have calculated, removing the diode, I have calculated what is V in place of that. Now this V is greater than or equal to VZ. Okay, suppose I got this V value calculated here is 12 volts. Now the 12 volts here I got it, but the GNR voltage is 10 volts. V is greater than or equal to VZ, then the GNR diode is on. Okay, suppose I calculated the voltage here by removing the diode, and I got that voltage as 6 volts. Say now 6 volts I got it here. Okay, and the GNR voltage is 10 volts. The 6 volts is less than 10 volts, then the GNR diode is off. That means the GNR voltage is fixed for a given diode which is connected in the circuit. Okay, that is what is VZ, and I am removing that and calculating actually the voltage across the terminals, open circuited terminals, And if I calculate by removing that for the given values of Vi, Rs and Rl, then if that value is greater than the Vz value, then only the diode is on. Otherwise, if that the voltage I calculated here for the given values of Vi, Rs and Rl, if that is less than Vz, then the diode will be always off. Then under that conditions, then it is of no use that we are connecting that diode and making it is a voltage regulator. Okay. So when the diode is in the off state, the diode will no more be operating in the breakdown region, and that particular diode circuit completely is of no more useful as a voltage regulator circuit. So it will be operated as a voltage regulator circuit provided the diode is on and it is operated at the breakdown region, and beyond that, then only we will be using that particular diode along with the circuit as a voltage regulator. So if the diode is off, then that circuit will no longer be operated as a GNR diode voltage regulator. Okay, that is one thing. Okay, now once you calculated that whether it is on or off, if you are calculating it as off, then it is no more a GNR diode voltage regulator. Simply you can just calculate power also will be 0, Iz will be 0. If it is off, what happens to the current Iz is 0, Iz is 0, Pz is 0, then only you will be getting the voltage across RL and voltage across Rs and other parameters, which is of no use. Okay, now once this diode is on, then your output voltage is equal to this GNR voltage, then that will be acting like a voltage regulator. Then all other parameters like Iz, IR, IL, VR, PZ can be calculated. Okay, how we will be calculating if the diode is on? If the diode is on, then your V naught will be equal to Vz. That is first equation. If the diode is off, your V naught is equal to the load resistance, whatever the resistance here is there, whatever the current you are getting here, whatever the resistance that is there, that itself is your output voltage, V naught. Okay, that is not actually the GNR voltage. Next, once you calculated this V naught is equal to Vz, then Iz can be calculated by applying the KCL at this particular node. KCL if you apply, then you will get IR minus IL, where IR is, this is equation number 2, IR is equal to VR divided by RS, the voltage across this divided by RS, and IL is equal to VZ divided by RL, okay, and so on. So this IR can be calculated, this IL can be calculated, okay, because VR is nothing but what? VR is nothing but voltage across this resistor. Voltage across this resistor can be calculated by knowing this potential as Vi and this potential as Vz. So Vi minus Vz is your VR. And IL you can calculate simply by taking Vz by RL. IR can be calculated by taking VR by RS. PZ can be calculated by taking Vz and Iz. So everything will be calculated. All circuit parameters like all the branch currents I have calculated. Then all the voltages. Vi we know already it is given. V naught is nothing but same as Vz, and we can calculate voltage across this resistor using this formula. Then power across the GNR diode we can calculate Pz is equal to Vz into Iz. So all the circuit parameters, all the branch currents, node voltages, power across the GNR diode can be calculated. If the diode is on, then we can use all these formulae and calculate the unknown values. Okay, substitute the appropriate equivalent circuit. Equivalent circuit nothing but what? GNR diode is replaced. Actually here it should be GNR diode in the in between these terminals here to here. Okay, here it should be GNR diode actually, but I am replacing that by its equivalent circuit. Equivalent circuit is nothing but GNR diode equivalent circuit is practically is diode is battery in series with resistance. But in the problem, if resistance is given, you can connect it. In the problem, if the resistance is not given, you assume it as an ideal diode and just replace the diode with its simply a battery of GNR voltage. Okay, and solve for the desired unknowns. Desired unknowns are all these things: V naught, Iz, IR, IL, PR, PZ. All these are the desired unknowns. So in the problem, they may be asking all these to be calculated after deciding whether the diode is on or off. Okay, we can solve one problem similar to this analysis. For a GNR diode network of below figure, okay, determine V naught, VR, VZ, and PZ. Repeat the same with RL is equal to 3 kilo ohms. Already RL is given as 1.2 kilo ohms in the problem. You have to repeat it for 3 kilo ohms also. Two problems are there. One is for 1.2 kilo ohms load. The other one is RL is equal to 3 kilo ohms load. So how to do this one? Very, very important problems. These all are these three cases. So how do we solve this? What is that given here? Everything in the circuit diagram, it is given VI is, this is VI, 16 volts. The R value is given. RL value is given as 1.2 kilo ohms. And the GNR voltage is given as 10 volts. Okay. So 10 volts. Now if you represent the current maybe here IR, I can represent like this. Here it is IZM, I represent IZ maximum. So whatever when the diode is on, the current that will be flowing is IZM, and the current in this is IL. Okay, so these are all the current directions and voltages across this voltage across this one is V naught, voltage across the resistor R is VR, and here the voltage is VA. So all these are power. And if you calculate power also, the power across this generator is PZ, which is equal to VZ into IZ. Okay, so this is all about the circuit diagram and their parameters. Now we have to, once this problem is given, what will be the first step? We have to decide whether this diode is on or off. After that, if it is off, open circuit. If it is on, replaced by its equivalent circuit. What is its equivalent circuit? It's a voltage, battery. So we have to decide first whether the diode is on or off. So first step is, what is that we have to do is determine the state of the diode. State of the diode means whether it is on or off. State of the diode. How do you do that? Open circuit the diode terminals. That means remove the diode terminals, and calculate V is equal to VI into RL divided by RS, R plus R, it is given here R or RS, whatever, you can take RS plus RL. Okay, now you just calculate and tell me what is this. VI is how much? 16 into RL is 1.2K divided by 1.2K plus 1.1K, that is 2.2K. So how much is this value? V is equal to, but what is given here? But given Vz is equal to 10 volts. Now you tell me what is V. Can someone type it in the chat box? What is V value? 16 into 1.2 divided by 2.2. Type it in the chat box. 16 into 1.2 divided by 2.2. Take the calculator. Tell me how much is that voltage. V 487. Very correct. 8.72 volts. 8.72 volts. Now, given value of Vz is how much? 10 volts. Now, is it V is greater than or equal to Vz, or V is less than Vz? Two conditions are there, right? Here, V is greater than or equal to Vz, diode is on. V is less than Vz, diode is off. Now, you compare the magnitudes of both Vz and V. Here, V is less than Vz. That is nothing but what? Diode is off. Diode is off, nothing but what is its equivalent? Here VI, RS. Diode is off, nothing but what is just open circuit. Nothing we are supposed to do anything. There is nothing as if there is no diode. This is RL is 1.2K. And this is 1K. This is 16 volts. So diode is off, nothing but what? For the given values of 16 volts, 1 kilo ohm, 1.2 kilo ohms of this RS, RL and VI, the diode is not at all off. So if the diode is not at all off, because across the diode the voltage is 8.72 volts only. Across the diode, if the voltage is 8.72 volts, that is operated at it is not operated in its operating region. So that is at if you check the reverse characteristic plot. So now the reverse characteristics is 0. Current will be flowing at breakdown voltage only. The current will be flowing like this. Okay. So this is what is reverse voltage. This is what is the current, reverse current. Now this VZ is what actually here VZ is 10 volts. Okay. This VZ is 10 volts. Now the voltage across this diode, what is 8.7? 8.7 maybe somewhere here 8.7. At 8.72 volts. What is the current here at this point? Is it on or off? In this region, the current diode is off. At this point only the diode is on. Therefore, this particular GNR diode is not operated in the breakdown region. Therefore, this circuit is no more a regulator circuit. This circuit is no more a regulator circuit. Then if you want to calculate the parameters V0, VR, VZ and PZ, what you will get? V0 is equal to same as V. V0 is equal to V, that is called 8.72 volts. Okay, output voltage you will get it as 8.72 volts. Then VR will be, VR is equal to VI minus VZ, V0, not VZ. VZ is not there here. Diode is not there. VI minus V0. VI is 16, 16 minus 8.72 volts. How much is the 16 minus 16 minus 8.72 is how much? 7.38 28 7.28 volts. So that is VR. Now V0 is this one. V0 I calculated. VR I calculated. Then what is VZ? VZ here. VZ is given as 10 volts given value. But actually the voltage here, GNR voltage, GNR diode voltage actually is only 8.72 volts on across that. So VZ, though it is given as 10 volts, we can just like that 10 volts we can write. But that is not actually the voltage what we got here. But the GNR voltage is given as 10 volts. That is given value only, directly we can keep. Then PZ. What is IZ then? If the diode is off, IZ is 0. What will be the current that is flowing in the off? Open circuited one, IZ. IZ is equal to 0. So IZ is equal to 0. Then what is PZ? PZ is equal to 0. VZ into IZ, right? PZ is equal to 0. Calculating all these things does not serve any purpose. Just we are calculating these parameters of what is the current, voltage here, current in the circuit. We can calculate all those things. We can calculate for just because it is asked. But that circuit is of no use because it is not at all acting like a regulator. Because the diode is operating at this particular value only, 8.72 volts. It is not going at this VZ value. Therefore, it is not operating as a GNR diode voltage regulator. So at 1.2 kilo ohms load resistor, that GNR diode is off and it will not work as a GNR diode voltage regulator, and it is of no use to be the diode. Diode is not operating in its operating region. Operating region is this one. Okay. Therefore, it is of no use. Next, repeat the same for RL is equal to 3 kilo ohms. Now I will repeat the same thing for RL is equal to 3 kilo ohms. If you take RL is equal to 3 kilo ohms, what happens? V is equal to VI into RL divided. Again, I am calculating V across the diode by open circuiting it for different value of RL. RL is equal to 3. I will take now RS plus RL. Now 16 into 3 kilo ohms divided by RS is 1 kilo ohm, so therefore 4 kilo ohms. So what will be this value? 4 is 12. 12 volts is the V value. Now V value is greater than or equal to VZ because 12 is greater than 10 volts. Okay, VZ is given VZ is 10 volts. But what I calculated across the terminals of the GNR diode when it is open circuited, 12 volts I am getting. That means the voltage across the GNR diode is 12 volts. Therefore, it will be operated in the on state and it will be having a constant voltage of 10 volts. Okay. Now, this is acting like when V is greater than VZ, then the diode is in on state. Diode is in on state. If the diode is an on state, then we replace the diode with its equivalent circuit. Battery is VI 16 volts. Then the resistance here is 1 kilo ohm. Then here the diode is replaced by its battery plus minus VZ is equal to 10 volts. And the load resistance here is 3 kilo ohms. Okay, now this is the circuit diagram. Now, though the voltage across these terminals, we got it as 12 volts, because the diode is having its GNR voltage as 10 volts, it will be remaining locked at 10 volts only. It will not go beyond 10 volts. So I am replacing the diode now with its equivalent voltage, that is 10 volts. VZ is equal to 10 volts. Now all the other parameters we have to calculate, right? What are those parameters I have to calculate? V0, we have to calculate V0 is equal to VZ, therefore it is 10 volts. V0 I have calculated. Then you can calculate IL. Okay, IL you can calculate. IL is equal to what? V0 by RL, or V0 is nothing but VZ by RL. Vz is nothing but 10 divided by 3k. 10 divided by 3k is nothing but what? 3.33 milliamperes IL. Now once IL is known, we'll calculate VR. VR will calculate. VR is nothing but Vi minus Vz. That is nothing but 16 minus 10. So VR is 6 volts. Once you know VR, how do I calculate IR? IR is equal to VR divided by 1k, that is R. VR divided by R. So 6 divided by 1k, that is nothing but 6 milliamperes. IR we got it. Once you know IR, this is IR and this is IL. Now what is IM? IZM. KCL you apply. KCL if you apply there, you will get IR is equal to IZM plus IL. Then I want IZM. IZM is equal to IR minus IL. So that is nothing but what? IR is 6 milliamperes minus IL is how much? 3.33 milliamperes. Then you will get this is approximately 2.772. What? How much is that? 77 or 67 milliamperes. Okay, so that is the IZM. Is it okay? 2.667 or 67 milliamperes. That is your IZM. Now, what after IZM, what we are supposed to calculate? PZ we have to calculate. PZ is equal to VZ into IZM or IZ. VZ is how much? 10. IZ is how much? 2.67 milliamperes. This is 10 volts into 2.67 milliamperes. This will become 26.7 milliwatt. So all the parameters of the circuit we have calculated once the diode is on. Okay. So this is what is the problem and its solution. So we have to first decide for the given values of Vi, Rs and RL whether the diode is on or off. If the diode is off, then that circuit will no more acts like a voltage regulator. Then leave all those things. If possible, you calculate the required values asked in the problem. Otherwise, it is of no use. Then you can say if the given values of RL, R and Vi, if the diode is on, then you will be calculating the power dissipated in the GNR diode, the current flowing in the GNR diode, in all the parameters, all those things you can calculate. Okay. So that is all about the problem. So this is first VZ, V0 you have calculated. Then what is asked to calculate here? V0, VR, VZ. VR and V0 and VZ are same. VR you calculated. Then PZ you calculated. All the parameters of unknown parameters in the circuit you calculated. Okay. So that is all about a circuit. Any circuit is given. First immediate thing what you are supposed to do is you have to determine the state of the diode for the given values of Vi, R and RL. Now, if it is on, is okay. It is acting like a voltage regulator. If it is off, then it will not act as a voltage regulator. That statement you can make it after that. So diode is in the on state. It acts like a voltage regulator. Okay. If the diode is in the off state, it does not act as a. It is not operated in its operating region. Operating region of the GNR diode is when breakdown occurs only. Otherwise, any voltage less than breakdown voltage, like in this case 8.2 volts, you got it right, 8.72 volts. 10 volts is the breakdown voltage, but you got the voltage across the GNR diode as 8.72 volts. So any voltage less than breakdown voltage, the diode will be in the off state and it does not act like a voltage regulator. It is not operated in its operating region, required operating region. Therefore, it will not be a voltage regulator. Okay. Next, second case. Second case is fixed VI and R. Okay. Second case, fixed VI and R and variable RL. Okay, variable RL. Now, under this case, what we will do is variable RL. That's why I have kept the arrow here. This RL is varying. This is fixed. This is fixed. Okay. Now, under this case, what we will calculate, assuming that the diode is on now onwards. You can do that on or off. You can decide. But I am proceeding when it is on onwards. I am proceeding. Okay. If it is off, then all those calculations will not occur. If it is on only, then the things will work. So I am assuming that it is on. We have to test even that also for the given values of Ri, RL and Vi. After assuming that this diode is on, now I'm calculating V0 will be equal to Vz, because in parallel output load voltage and GNR voltage both are same. That's what is equal to constant voltage. V0 is equal to Vz is equal to, again applying the voltage division rule, RL into Vi by Rs plus RL. Okay, Rs plus Ri or Rs. So RL into Vi divided by Rs plus RL. Okay. So you can even take this as R. If you keep Rs here, Rs you can keep. Otherwise, R means R. Okay. Then next one. What we have to calculate now? RL you have to calculate, right? Just rearrange this one. Same equation. Rearranging to calculate RL minimum. Okay, RL minimum I am calculating. So you have to write this entire equation in terms of RL. So what you have to do, you just cross multiply this. Okay, R plus RL into Z is equal to RL into Vi. Then you take RL only, then it will become RL minimum is equal to Ri into Vz by Vi minus Vz. So this is RL minimum. When I am getting the minimum resistance, okay, what will be the current here? How the current and resistor are related? P is equal to I into R. Okay, I is equal to V by R. Now how these current and resistor are related? Reciprocal, right? If R is minimum, I will be maximum, or vice versa. If R is maximum, I will be minimum. Okay. So I and R are reciprocal relationship. So current and resistor in that element, in that path, what happens is RL I am getting minimum value. So this value is taken as minimum. Suppose then you will be getting the maximum value as IL maximum is equal to Vz by RL minimum. Just Ohm's law I have applied. This is just a Ohm's law. Okay. Now, once the diode is in the on state, already this diode is in the on state, right? So once the diode is in the on state, this diode is having some current, right? That current is equal to IZM. Okay. And this current IL minimum will be, this is the maximum current that is flowing. Once the diode is on, this is the maximum current that is flowing. This is the constant current will be coming here. This is the in that constant current, the maximum will go here. The remaining portion that is coming this side will be the minimum current. So IL minimum is equal to the total current that is coming from the source IR minus the diode is on here. So when the diode is on, the maximum current will go into this diode that is called IZM. Then the remaining portion of the current that is coming into the load resistance is called as IL minimum. So IL minimum is equal to IR minus IZ minimum by applying KCL at this node. Okay, that you will get. Then in this, what is IR and what is IZM means? IZM is just the current that is flowing into the GNR diode. Then IR is equal to VR by R, and VR is nothing but VI minus VZ. Then once you know these things, RL maximum will be the VL. This once you know the IL minimum, just taking the Ohm's law, RL maximum is called VZ by IL minimum. Okay, so Vz is always the voltage across the load resistance, which is equal to GNR voltage, because in parallel voltages are same. Actually, it is V0 divided by IL minimum. Okay, but I already taken that V0 is same as Vz. In parallel, this is Vz, this is V0, but both are parallel. Therefore, parallel voltages are same. So wherever I am getting Vz, that is nothing but V0 only. V0 and Vz are same in all the circuits, because in parallel voltages are same. When the diode is on, output voltage across the load resistance is always equal to the GNR resistance, okay, which is constant voltage, GNR voltage, which is constant voltage. Okay, so that way we will calculate RL minimum, RL maximum for the IL minimum and IL maximum values. Okay, so that means variable RL I am taking, right? From this variable RL, I am calculating using this formula what is the minimum value of RL and what is the maximum value of the RL, so that we will get the range of RL as range of RL. Range of RL is, so this RL is between RL minimum and RL maximum. What is the range of this RL? We have calculated using this formula. Now, based upon this, we'll solve one problem. How do we calculate? Here it is asked to calculate determine the range of RL and IL. That means we have to calculate RL minimum, IL maximum, and RL maximum, IL minimum. These 4 parameters you have to calculate, because determine the range of RL. RL means RL minimum, RL maximum, and IL also. IL means IL maximum, IL minimum. So those minimum and maximum values of RL and IL, they are it is asked to calculate. That will result in VL being maintained at 10 volts. Okay, VL is being maintained, VL or V naught, all are same. VL, V naught, VZ, all are same, parallel. Now the given value IZM will be given in this case, because the maximum, when the diode is on, the maximum current that will be flowing in the diode also will be given. Otherwise, if all the variables are there, IR we don't know, IL we don't know, IZ also if it is not given, then we will not be able to calculate. Therefore, definitely the IZM value will be given for calculating the variable values. RL minimum, RL maximum values, IZM will be given. Then only we will be able to calculate the IR, IL, and all those things. Okay. Now, what will be the solution here in this case? How to do this? The first we have to calculate RL minimum. Use this formula. You might have noted down this formula. If not, I'll write RL minimum is this one. IL maximum is this one. IL minimum is this one. RL maximum is this one. Use all these formulae to solve that. First, we'll start with RL minimum. RL minimum is equal to R into Vz divided by Vi minus Vz. Okay, that is nothing but R is how much here? 1K. Vz is nothing but how much here? It is given 10 volts. Then divided by Vi minus Vz. Vi is 50, Vz is 10. 50 minus 10 is 40. How much is this one? 10K divided by 40. So it is a 0.25 kilo ohms. 0.25 kilo ohms. Okay, that is RL minimum. Then for this RL minimum, we have to calculate IL maximum, right? Minimum value of the resistance, maximum will be the current. So IL maximum is equal to Vz divided by RL minimum. Actually, V naught divided by RL minimum, but V naught and Vz are same, I told. So therefore, I am taking Vz simply, since V naught is equal to Vz. That is nothing but IL maximum is equal to, what is that? Vz is how much? 10. RL minimum, how much I got? 0.25 kilo ohms. So how much is this one? 40 milliamperes. Kilo ohms will become milliamperes. 40 milliamperes. Next, now I am supposed, now RL minimum we calculated, IL maximum we have calculated. Now we are supposed to calculate IL minimum and RL maximum. Okay, so to do that, IL minimum is equal to IL minimum current that is flowing in the load is equal to IR minus IZM. But I don't know what is IR. First I will calculate IR. IR is equal to what here? VR divided by R. That is nothing but, how much is the VR? VR is nothing but what? Vi minus Vz divided by R. The Vi is 50. 50 minus 10 is 40. Directly, right? 40 divided by R value is 1 kilo ohms. 40 divided by 1 kilo is 40 milliamperes is IR. That IR value you just use it here. IL minimum is equal to 40 milliamperes minus IZ maximum is how much? Already given, 32 milliamperes. So therefore, IL minimum is equal to 40 minus 32 is 8 milliamperes. 8 milliamperes. Okay, very good. 475. Then IL minimum is 8 milliamperes. Then I have to calculate RL maximum by using simply Ohm's law. RL maximum is equal to Vz by IL minimum. So Vz is how much? 10. IL minimum is how much? 8 milliamperes. Okay, 8 milliamperes. That is equal to 10 by 8 is 1.25 milliamperes goes to numerator kilo ohms. So what will be the range of RL? RL range is RL range and IL range. We have to calculate. IL maximum is 40 milliamperes. IL minimum is 8 milliamperes. And RL minimum is 0.25 kilo ohms. 0.25 kilo ohms. and 1.25 kilo ohms is the maximum. That means 250 ohms to 1.25 kilo ohms, 8 milliamperes to 40 milliamperes. So RL range is ranging from 250 ohms to 1.25 kilo ohms, whereas IL range is 8 milliamperes to 40 milliamperes. Okay, so this is the range of IL and RL for which the GNR diode will be on. So I am varying the load resistance. Load resistance RL means you can keep varying from 250 to 250 ohms to 1.25 kilo ohms, such that your diode will keep on continuing in the on region, on condition. For that values of RL varying between 250 ohms to 1.25 kilo ohms, the IL range will be 8 milliamperes to 40 milliamperes. That means when the RL is low, the current will be maximum. This corresponds to this one. So 250 ohms is the RL value. The corresponding current will be 440 milliamperes. If the resistance value is 1.25 kilo ohms, the corresponding value of the current flowing in that case is 8 milliamperes. Okay, that means the minimum is the resistance, maximum will be the current. Maximum is the resistance, minimum will be the current. Okay, so when RL is 250 ohms, the current IL flowing in that will be 40 milliamperes. When RL is 1.25 kilo ohms, the current flowing will be current IL will be 8 milliamperes. So this is what. Okay, that is the answer. I hope you understood. So we have calculated for the network shown below, determine the range of RL and IL. That will result in VL being maintained at 10 volts. VL being maintained at 10 volts, nothing but what? It should be in the on state. Okay. Next case. Last case. In this case, what I am doing, R and RL I am fixing. VI is variable now. That's why the arrow is here. VI is variable. Now for what range of VI, this diode is continuing to be on state. Okay. Now for that, what we will do, anyhow V0 is again same as VZ because parallel, it is on. Therefore this is parallel voltage will be same. Therefore V0 will be VZ. First one, V0 is equal to VZ is equal to, just apply voltage division rule, RL divided by RL into the input voltage divided by R plus RL. Voltage division rule simply. Always this voltage division rule is very, very important. That itself is the starting point where we will proceed with. So once this voltage division rule is calculated, the minimum value of VI is by rearranging this equation. In the previous case also we have done the same, rearranging to get the minimum value. So minimum VI minimum is equal to VZ into cross multiply VZ into R plus RL divided by RL. Just rearranging the above equation to get VI minimum, we get R plus RL into VZ by RL. Then VI maximum will be VR max plus VZ. So generally VZ is constant, VZ is fixed. Okay, this is fixed, constant VZ. Now if this is changing, then there definitely the voltage here should change, VR. Okay, so VI is maximum, VR will be maximum, and VZ is fixed. So VI is maximum, VR is maximum, VZ is fixed. What is that VR maximum? VR maximum is called IR maximum into R. What is IR maximum? IR maximum is equal to IZM plus IL. What is IL? IL is equal to VZ plus. All these are related. So 1 to 1. So VI minimum is this equation. VI maximum is this equation. But VI maximum, this is a known value. VZ, it will be given. But to calculate VR maximum, I have used Ohm's law. To calculate IR maximum, I have used KCL. Okay. To calculate IR maximum is called IZM plus IL. What is IL? I have used this Ohm's law again. Okay. So each of, because I know only VZ and RL. Once you know VZ and RL, I calculate IL. Once you know IL and IZM, I calculate IR maximum. Once you know IR maximum, you use Ohm's law to calculate VR maximum. Once you know VR maximum, you calculate VI maximum. Like that. So all are related. So now VI minimum and VI maximum we have to calculate for the given circuit, assuming that the diode is in the on state. Okay. Now we will do the same thing in a example problem. Determine the range of values of Vi that will maintain the Zener diode of the figure below in the on state. So to maintain that in the on state, suppose if the range, whatever that we are calculating the range of Vi, minimum and maximum value, if it is crossing maximum value or if it is going below the minimum value, the diode will be in the off state. Off state means that does not work as a voltage regulator. So the range of Vi for which this acts as a voltage regulator I am calculating. In the previous examples for the range of RL for which the diode acts like a voltage regulator we have calculated. So here also we'll do the same thing. So what will be the solution? What are the given data? Everything is given in the circuit diagram here. R value, Vi value we have to calculate, Vi minimum and Vi maximum. RL, R, Vz, Izm are given. Okay, now what is Vi minimum that we are supposed to calculate? So Vi minimum is equal to formula. Vi minimum is equal to Vz into R plus RL divided by RL. That is nothing but Vi minimum is equal to Vz is how much given in the problem? 20 volts. 20 into R plus RL. 220 plus 1.2 K. 220 plus 1.2 K is how much? Okay. It is 220 plus 1.2 K. It will become 1.42. 1.42 K. Okay. 1.42 K it will become. Is it okay? Next, R 1420 ohms. We can write 1420 ohms. 220 plus 1200. 220 plus 1200, 1420 ohms. Divided by RL is how much here? 1.2 K. How much is this one? Can some of you tell? 20 into 1.42 divided by 1.2. That is Vi minimum. Then Vi maximum can be calculated as VR maximum plus Vz. So VR maximum is nothing but IR maximum into R plus Vz. IR maximum is nothing but what? Iz maximum plus IL into R plus Vz. That is nothing but what? Izm plus VL. VL is equal to what? Vz by RL into R plus Vz. Substitute everything is there here. 60 milliamperes plus 20 by 1.2 K into 220 plus 20. How much is this one? Tell me. This is how much? VA minimum is how much you got it? What is the numbers you are telling? 495, 475. What was that answer? Please, 3686.6. So what? Which one that is? VI minimum. VI minimum, how it can be that that much high? It is just 1.42, 20 into 1.42 by 1.2. KK you cancel, kilos you remove. Kilo cancel, just 20 into 1.42 divided by 1.2 cannot be so much. 3000 above. Exactly correct. 23.67 is correct. 23.66 or 67. 23.67 volts is this one. Now what is this value? Tell me. Vi maximum. You can split and do it separately and do it. I have just substituted everything in the series, the order. What will be the final answer of this Vi maximum? Tell the answer. Type that in the chat box. Doing? Doing still? Very correct. 36.86 or 87. Okay, very correct. 487. Very good. Vi maximum is 36.86 volts. So the range of Vi is what? 23.67 to 36.86. So VI range is 23.67 volts to 36.86 volts. Okay, so this during this range of voltages, then your diode will be on and it will be acting like a voltage regulator.